Good afternoon, faith. Good afternoon, friends and family. Good afternoon. This is Miss Margaret coming back with you this afternoon. This is a Tuesday afternoon. It's one of my lazy days. I mean, I've been up and I've been out, enjoyed this morning's walk, and I came on live for Facebook and shared some things. But I'm on here this afternoon just for a chit chat, okay, on my YouTube. And if you're watching this, would you please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and make comments, okay? I would appreciate it. Well, what I wanted to come on here and share with you today, I want to talk about the sisterhood and how we make impact, what we do to impact our world and our surroundings and our spheres of influence. Um, I was listening to my girl Nikita B, the comedian uh, Nikita B. I think her last name is Williams, okay? But she's a YouTube star. She really is. And she's a comedian. And I watch her periodically, and I am so inspired by that young lady. And even though she has a lot of wisdom, and she uses it in humor, and I enjoy watching her. But today I watched her. I get a notification every time she comes on live, and so I happened to be listening to her earlier, and she was talking about visiting her grandmother. Her grandmother has Alzheimer's, and she was kind of choked up by her visit, and she said she went to go see her. She said, well, what happened? They given her a call saying that they couldn't find the grandmother. Well, the grandmother she lives in the Carolinas. I don't know if it's North or South Carolina, but in the country. That's what she said. She said she's about an hour and 40 minutes from where she lives, about an hour and 20 minutes from where she lives. She said she got in the car when they said they couldn't find her. She took off. She said I guess her grandmother had wandered out into the woods and was one step away from backing up, falling into the pond. But she was out there thinking she was picking onions. And she said they finally got her back, and she said they know now that she cannot, be by herself. They're gonna have to, make a decision. But anyway, she was sharing today, and she said it was a day where she visited her, and she said that they kind of went through memory lane, kind of watching videos and just bringing up memories, past memories, and all that, and looking at pictures and stuff. And she said she happened to run across a picture, and her grandmother was in the picture, and she was in the picture. And she said her grandmother's very fair complected. And she said back in the South they call her high yellow, but very fair complected lady. She said, and she was there laying in her lap, and she said, uh, her grandmother said, who is that white lady laying down there? And who is that person with her? And she said, grandmother, that's you. And the person with her is me. She said, oh, okay. And she said, grandmother, do you know what my name is? And she said, no. She said, you don't know, no, you don't know who I am. She said, I don't know your name, but I know I love you. And man, when she said that, and Nikita was crying and she was talking about it. And when she said that, that just made an impact. And so she began to share. She said, uh, to live a life and to be how you treat people to where you can make that kind of impact on their lives. They may not know your name, but they know that they love you. That was such a powerful statement that she made. And I was just like, wow. And so it brought me to this question: how do I want to be remembered? And I'm going to ask you the question: how do you want to be remembered? What kind of impact are you making on those that are around you in your sphere of influence? How are you impacting them? How will you be remembered? And I started thinking about that, and I'm like, man. And I started reflecting about back on the women who have impacted my life the most, that made a deep, deep impression in my life, that showed me, that kind of just mentored me along the way. It was so many people that that deposited into my life as I was growing up. And I think about the sisterhood. I think about my adopted mom, Ardella Peaks. I think she made the most impression in my life because of the way she raised me. And for 15 years, she was in my life. And I will never, ever forget her. She made such an impact, the way she taught me. I know she prayed for me every day. I know she nurtured me as a child. And she just made such a strong impression on my life. She really did. And then I remember my Aunt Lola, how she made an impression on my life. And the women that were around me, and most of them were older women, because my mom, and I'm talking about my adopted mom, Ardella. My mother, I started living with my mother when I was 16 years old. I only lived with her for 2 years, okay? But the growing up, the nurturing, the bonding, the teaching, the training came from Ardella and Alex Peaks. Reverend Peaks, he was known as Reverend Peaks, and that was Ardella. They called her Della. And they made the most profound impression on my life that I will never forget, you know. And I knew they loved me, and I'll never forget that. And they trained me, they disciplined me, they taught me about God, okay? What I knew about him, they taught it, and I love them for that. And then I think about the surrounding community, the community. I grew up. It was a poor area. We didn't know we were poor, but where I grew up in this community where love was all around you, people cared about other people, and they watched out for each other. And I remember uh, Sarah Frazier. These are sisterhoods. Joella Smith. Um, I remember Mahalia McClure, Sister Millie McClure. Oh my goodness, such a profound. Took me to the fair, took me to the wrestling match. I would stay at their house and just they were so special in my life. And then there was a sister, Mother Lane, and taking me to Bible school, yeah, and staying over there, and then Sister Dotson, and all of these people that was surrounded me as a child, Pearlie McCauley, and Willie Mae Price, and Carrie Peoples, and all of and oh my God, I tell a manager, Iola Reese, my God. I remember I was going through a situation, and I was like, I don't know about this. She said, baby, honey, a half a loaf of bread is better than no loaf of bread. I will never forget that. That was such a simple thing, but it was a principle behind what she said, and that was how I got it. Instead of her going real deep into Greek and all this other Greek and Hebrew and all that, she just put it plain. She said, baby, a half a loaf of bread is better than no loaf. I will never make the impact that she deposited into my life. Uh, Dorothy Langston, Dorothy Miles, people in the community, and I can get in trouble trying to name all the names, but these are people that touched my life. Miss Vickers was one of the school teachers, and she said, baby, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. that would made an impact on my life, and I've never, ever, ever, ever forgotten it. You know, just as I was reflecting on what Nikita was sharing about her grandmother, I reflected on the words that were spoken to me by these women, or how they covered me and surrounded me, uh, and talked. Nothing real deep, nothing heavy, nothing. It was just simple stuff, but made an impression in my life. And so as I was thinking about that, I began to say, Lord, how do I want to be remembered? And what kind of impression am I making on other people's lives? And that's a question I would ask you. What, how will people remember you? What have you said or done? How do you treat people, you know, that are in your life? And what will they remember about you? And I just began to think about that. And that's my question to you today. How do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as a kind-hearted person, an encouraging person, an inspiring person, a person that that made you want to be around them, that just you love being around them because you put off a positive energy? Or or have you are one of these people that no people don't particularly like being around you? Do you do they extract from you, or do they pour into you? Are they draining of you, or are they builders? Okay? Do they build you up? Do they encourage you, or do they tear you down? Are their words encouraging? Are their words deflating? Are their words that come from their lips, are they always positive? Now, none of us are always positive. There's been times that, I was like, you know, I was didn't, I would be upset about something, and so there's words sometimes I wouldn't say the right thing, but but I want to be a more positive people because I know how important that is. I want to stay around people who are full of life, and be around people who are full of energy, and be around people who are encouragers, and say, girl, you can do it, and that build you up. And I don't want to be around someone nasty that's always talking and calling people names just because they don't agree with them. One of the ladies said, it's Joella Smith, and this was a statement she made. She said, baby, always look for the good in people. I don't care how bad they are. There's some good in people. If you can't do nothing but say, baby, they got some good eyes. She said, find something good to say about people. Find something good about them. It's always something. And that taught me something. And she said, we've gotta learn how to treat other people as God's creation. We don't have to agree with them. We don't have to agree with their lifestyles. We don't have to join in with them, but we need to respect them as a creation by God, a humanity, and not get into this name calling thing. And I know I'm guilty of it, and I've had to repent and say, Lord, forgive me, because their lifestyles are different. We have these tags that we put on people, you know, uh, fruity, and, nutty, or queer, or all of these different names that we tag people because they are different. And God had to remind me I still created them, okay? And if nothing else, respect my creation. Even though their lifestyle may not be what you agree with or you go along with, or even if it's right, you know, that's still my creation. Okay, and we have to know, we got to learn how to do that. And so I said, Lord, I never I want to respect his humanity enough to respect the person, maybe not the lifestyle, not agree with it, but as a person, I'm going to respect you and try to be as kind to you as I possibly can. There's no reason to be nasty to people because you don't agree with them. You know, you can be cordial to people. I can be cordial to anybody, okay? Um, and that's how I always want to be. I may not agree with you. It's hard to walk with someone a very long time or a long way if you're not in agreement. Even the Bible say, how can two walk together unless they agree? You're not going to get very far and you're not going to go very long in that surrounding, okay? So there has to be some common ground in there, and you have to try to find it. And if you can't, then we may have to separate. Doesn't mean I don't respect you, but it just means I can't walk with you, okay? And that happens in life when we don't agree on the same, uh, share some values together that we can find a common ground to stand on and get along with each other, then I can't walk with you. That's Bible. Unless and how can two walk together because if you try to do that, there'll always be turmoil, okay? And as Nikita was sharing her story today, she was saying her grandmother was a place of refuge when she got in trouble with her mom. And her mom, I think the way she alluded, I have to assume that she got pregnant, and so she was out. So where did she end up? She said, I ended up in my grandmother's house. She said, I was making a pallet sleeping on the floor. But my grandmother said, baby, as long as I got a place, you got a place. And that's the way I feel about my children. I don't care what anybody say or how you feel about it. That's my attitude toward my children. They will never say, they'll never be on the street. As long as I got a place, I'm not that type of mother that say you got to get out because you messed up. I'll help you. And if we can't live together, then we'll try to help you find a place where you can live. But not on my watch. And I've tried to train my children to where they can always come home as long as they show respect for me and my husband. And they can come back. They may not want to stay long, but they ain't gonna never be outdoors without a meal, okay? I don't care how old they get. And people have their own, people can say whatever you want to say. And so that's what she was sharing. My grandmother, she said, as long as you got a place, as long as I got a place, you got a place. You can always say, I got somewhere to go. Always have somewhere to go. Now, you may not can't stay long, but you can stay until you get on your feet. And we'll try to help you get on your feet. Maybe quicker than what you anticipated. But how I want to leave that impression with my kids that I can always go home to mama. I ain't got no quarrels about that, okay? I want my kids to remember me for that, okay? And so she was sharing that. And so that just made me think, how am I impacting people around me? To where she said, this woman had Alzheimer's. She said, I can't remember your name, but I do know I love you. Now that's something. And there are people that have made an impact on my life that I may not remember their name, never met them, but they made an impact. Their words, their deeds, their kindness made an impact and influenced my life. And that's where I said, Lord, I want to influence people to be better. When they come from around me, I want them to feel better. I don't want to drain them. Do I feel energy? I don't want to be negative, you know. And some people, when they're around, everything is negative. Everything is I've had a bad life. We've all, I don't care who you are, if you lived long enough in this world, we've all gone through some struggles and gone through some hard times, some worse than others. But when you're around them, we're not talking about your struggles all the time or how somebody disappointed you and you're the victim all the time. Nobody wants to be around nobody like that. There's some of the people that was going through stuff that you would have never known that they were going through the struggles that they were going through because of the way they made you feel when you were around them. Okay? And then it has to do a lot with how do you feel about you? Do you feel okay with you? Are you pleased with you? Are you happy with you? Because that is something that you will project. If you're feeling terrible about yourself, that's what you're projecting. And then you don't see no good. You don't see no good in yourself. You don't see no good in nobody else. And a lot of times you'll say, I'm the queen bee. Well, if that's how you look at yourself as a bee. That's what you're projecting. I'm a bad MF. Well, that's what you projecting, okay? And what does that mean? I don't take no mess. I don't take no this, and I will do this, and I will do that, and don't F with me, and yeah, and get on it, and yeah. For what? Because that's how you want to be looked at. That's how you want to be perceived, okay? And if that's the case, then that's the case. I can deal with that. I just know that would be a type of person that I will respect you, but I don't agree with you, and I probably won't be. It won't be in my circle, okay? Because there's certain, you have certain core values. I can respect. I mean, even a drunk or a drug addict. I still want to treat you with respect as a human person, but I'm not gonna get out there with you and do what you're doing. That doesn't mean that I'm a bad person because I don't agree with you and I'm not doing what you're doing. Okay? I respect you enough to let you be on out there, but I try to encourage you and tell you there is a better way. And so, anyway, that's just one of the things that I was thinking about. And also, uh, just be honoring people. And how do I mean? What do I mean by that? You know, you give honor to whom honor's due, and I understand that. To respect you enough, that's what we were trained as kids. Honor the elderly. And some of them elderly people was something else, but you showed respect. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. You didn't go off on people like that. People go off now just like you can't even do nothing. I was listening to a couple of weeks ago, Wendy Williams went off on this lady named Tabitha Brown. Just kind of, the girl got on there and she said, Y'all, I'm so excited. This is Tabitha Brown. I'm excited because I'm retiring my husband. I told him he could retire and follow after his dreams. And my goodness, the comeback that she got on that, because that's what she chose to do. And Wendy Williams, who has experienced a failed marriage, went off on her like, well, I've had one of them before, and that's probably what's going to happen. This is going to happen. It's like, why would you do that? Just try to deflate her. She called it, well, she's an influencer. And so I lost my respect for Wendy's comeback on what Tabitha said dropped her to a degree. Because why would you say that about someone just because they want to retire their husband? But I respected the way Tabitha came back. She said, I pray that you find the love that I found in my husband. I'm praying for you. She didn't say anything derogatory to her. She just said, we built our marriage with God in the center of it. And you may not understand what that looks like. And we have a trust in each other. And we built our life on, she said, and I don't want to see my husband putting that uniform on for LAPD, and I'm worried about whether he going to come back alive or not. And that's why, so he can pursue a dream that he wanted to help young boys. That's what she said. And oh man, when a man need to work, and I'm like, not the saying the man doesn't work. She said that man worked 15 years while I was trying to find my dreams. He put his life on hold for me, and now it's time for me to give back to him, and that's what I want to do. And but not only Wendy Williams, there were other comments from other people, but Wendy Williams went public with it on. Well, people go public in social media all the time, but Wendy has a mass. She's on TV, national TV, to where her stuff went out. But I remember Tabitha in her response, which was so classy, which was so godly. I'm praying for you, and I hope you find the love that I found, you know. And so that's how I remember. That's an impact on me. I may not ever remember a recipe that Tabitha has as a vegan chef, but I'll never forget what she said and how she responded in a positive, encouraging, uplifting way. She didn't put her down. She didn't say, your life is going to turn out this way, that way, da da da. No, she said, I pray that you find love the way I found love. That was how she responded. On the other hand, Wendy Williams put her down for wanting to retire her husband, you know? And everything she may have said, I always liked the, how you doing? I thought that was kind of cute the way she did. That's how I remembered her. But the late, but her attitude, and I think it's because she has been hurt. And I have found out that hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. Because they're hurting, they want you to hurt too. Okay? And I don't want to be a person just because I'm hurting, I go aim to hurt other people. You know? Um, and so, anyway, I just wanted to come on there and share this with you. And it's something to give you a food for thought. How do you want to be remembered? How are you impacting your life? Can someone say, I don't know your name, but I know you're a good person. I don't know your name, but I love you. I don't remember your name, but I respect you. I honor you. You're a good person. You're a kind person. I remembered you for this kind word that you said to me. I remember you of telling me the truth. I remember you. And you told me the truth in love, not in malice. Okay? So that's all I wanted to share with you today. So I'm going to get off here now. I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed evening. Until next time, this is Mix Margaret saying bye-bye.